This is another big jump in power, and now you can really bring the pain to the enemy heavy tanks with an average damage of 1250. Now of course you only have a penetration of 88mm on your shells, but that's actually not bad at all. Just aim for the top and the sides of the tanks to realize your full potential, and then reap your reward as they rage in chat. Now it is true that apart from the Russian line, you have the highest alpha damage with a really good penetration, but you will have to pay the price for all this power with a relatively low rate of fire at only 1.6 shots per minute. This means a whopping 37.5 seconds reload between shots, so you better make sure that every shot counts, especially as in shorter matches you will only be able to fire a couple of times. And herein lies the frustration that sometimes you will have to face. On paper, you will have the second best accuracy of your tier with a dispersion of only 0.72 meters, a value that is much better than what you had in the previous tiers. And yet, somehow it just doesn't feel that way. You will have several cases when a fully aimed shot does land far outside the aiming circle. Hell, I think some of the shots land somewhere on the previous map I played. Always let it fully aim and then pray. By the way, aiming. With 7.5 seconds, it has one of the longer aim times in its tier, but that's alright as you don't want to rush your shots anyway and this is still manageable. As for the soft stats, there are good news and bad news. The good news is that it has a decent firing arc of 28 degrees, meaning that you don't have to re-aim constantly when switching targets. The bad news is that the gun has only a 45-degree elevation, resulting in a relatively shallow shell trajectory that makes it very difficult to hit targets behind cover, and that will often be the cause to a lot of misses on hill landscapes. The gun traverse speed is quite bad as well with only 12 degrees per second, so it will take its time when you want to swing it over. Now that's about the gun for you. I think it's time we had a look at the protection. The whole tier has Joe average health pools, and yours is no different with 350 HP under your belt. The actual armor plating is slightly surprising though, meaning that you have some armor in the first place. Well, you have and you haven't, as while you have 50mm on the front, this is only for your lower plates, and nobody shoots artillery there. On all the other places at the front you have a maximum of 26mm, and then it's only 19mm on the sides and rear. You really have to win the lottery to bounce shots in the M12, but that's not expected in general anyway. One thing that has to be said though is that sometimes it will be your weight that saves you. Being a tier 7 SPG, you weigh about 27 tons, and I had many ELC AMX drivers ram themselves to death on my M12, and that's always just hilarious. Talking about attacking light tanks, you really have to make sure to shotgun them while they are before you when you lay in ambush, as you have one of the worst hull traverse stats of your tier with only 20 degrees per second. Your top speed on the other hand is quite alright with an over 38 km per hour speed limit, so you will be able to relocate if you start in time. Your view range is average at 370 meters, at least now in version 9.6, and signal range is perfect as well with 750 meters. I think regarding equipment and skills, I will stop mentioning them for SPGs as it's pretty much always the same. Gun rammer, gun laying drive, and vents or camo net depending if it's an open top vehicle. And then for skills, brothers in arms followed by 6 sense and camo all the way. So it's verdict time. Is it any good? Sure it is, but expect your gun to be a bit moody, whatever the stats tell you on paper. Make sure not to rush your shots and always let it fully aim. Unless you really have to support your team against a certain enemy, it is also a good idea to prioritize targets parked on a flat surface with no cover, preferable sideways onto you or with large engine decks to give yourself the best chance of a massive hit. Patience is your friend there, and it's all about maximizing your chances in the end. But that's probably enough with the numbers. Let me show you exactly what the M12 can do when it has a good day. Alright, so here we are in our M12 in a tier 8 game. The map is El Haluf, it's a standard battle, so the plan is to bomb the shit out of the heavy tanks, or lurking around in the northwestern corner. Now in the beginning of the match there is a bit of drama going on, as it seems somebody did mess up slightly with the platooning, as we have a tier 2 light tank, and our best player on the team decides to team kill it right in the beginning as a punishment for that, which is quite a despicable act to do. Now of course tier 2 light cannot do much in this matchup, but in this map he could actually be useful scouting for us, so That's a completely idiotic move. And then in the chat there is a heated discussion going on. I don't know in which language, but honestly, they pretty much know what they are telling each other in chat. So I don't think we miss out on much. Now I move here behind this bush to take a position at the back of the map. Actually, it might be an idea to avoid it, because I can be anywhere on that corner without being spotted if I go into the depression. And that's behind the bushes. That's a very obvious spot, so if someone is doing counter arty work, that's the first place they will check out. Now I did a bit of a miscalculation here. I thought, see if I can snipe some snipers while the enemy heavy tanks approach here, but it all happened a bit faster than I thought, and there is a first good shot. IS-6 right in the side. And the 500 damage. So that's great. I will not relocate in this match. Looking at the lineup, the enemy has one probably very bad M12 driver, so I highly doubt that he will do any counter battery work, unless I'm spotted. If I am, I have to go and hide, but I think I should be pretty safe for most of this match. So let's see for the next one. Yes, side of a T-150, and he's on fire. Excellent. So another good shot. Always try to go for side shots. That's the best way to blow up the enemy tanks in one shot. Alright, so while we reload, there is actually a very dangerous platoon on the enemy team. Type 59 platooned with the T-28 HTC. Two very dangerous tanks, driven by the single best players on the enemy team, so whenever we get a chance to shoot at them, that's definitely what we should do. But first, I wanna hit that KV-5, as they are threatening our flank. And thankfully, we managed to hit him, so that forces a reverse. And here comes the cavalry, so our flank should be hopefully safe. I try to do a combination of going for the most profitable kills and going for the most useful kills at the same time. Now here, I don't really have shots on the other tanks, and while this KV-5 is only very low health, he bounces many shots. So killing him allows these guys to push on ahead and push back the flanking attack of the enemy team. KV-5s are tough. Getting rid of them will help the team greatly. Okay, so there is the Type 59, very dangerous player, and an IS-6, a very dangerous tank. So, come on. And this looks a little bit dangerous. Going for the IS-6, it was a miss, but with the splash, did some damage to him. So, and probably killed a couple of crew members, maybe knocked out some modules, so overall, it should help the guys to push him back. These guys are doing some fine work holding off the enemy attack. And the 30 and the Löwe quite close to each other. So, oh, that's a good one. Please don't move. And they disappear. Shot goes in. I think it did go to the left. So the shot was inaccurate. Well, the gun did misbehave itself a little bit. And I think it did hit the Löwe. Because, yep, the Löwe has been hit quite hard. So that's a good one. And now we definitely have to focus on these guys, because there's only a Wanton and the Tiger one holding this flank against some pretty dangerous tanks, the enemy team. And yeah, that was a bit of a mistake from me. It was to be expected that Vertigo will go back, so I should have aimed a little bit behind it. And these guys are being pushed quite heavily here. IS-6 goes into the attack. I'm still reloading, so hold that, guys. And IS-6 is getting obliterated. Good, T-59 is getting taken out. And I decide not to shoot at the IS-6 because I expect that these guys will blow him up. Instead, I will work over this full half AMX. And that's a good hit. Okay, in the meantime, there's fire being requested on the T-29, where the cap usually is with the encounter matches. And he's on full health, but I think from this angle I should be able to score some pretty good shots at him, and he takes some big hits, so this should be the finishing shot. And there he goes. It seems the enemy is licking their wounds at the moment. Because it's a bit of a silence. By the way, our tank destroyers did a fantastic job supporting the heavy tanks holding that corner, so I was quite happy with the teamwork, which is a rare thing. But there is still that tier 7 tank destroyer on the enemy team, the French AMX AC, and he is a priority target now. He's very, very dangerous. So taking him out will be of great use to the team. And there he goes, our third kill. Going quite well. So this is the other very dangerous player on the enemy team. And he is